morning traders, Joseph here from Eightcap. I will start with some of the key comments overnight. So we had Carney speaking. He basically said that interest rates will remain low for the foreseeable future and more stimulus may be required if growth isn't seen. So advanced GDP came out in the UK yesterday and it was a little bit of a mixed bag. That didn't have too much effect on the pound. As we can see here, the pound did have another solid session after starting to cut back into some of those losses we saw in the previous week. We saw a gain of 0.34%. The euro finally snapped its losing streak. We can see it wasn't a big move, but we did finally see some positive close after really 6 sessions of declines. Now that's after we sort of retested that low here. Well, not the exact low, but the closing and opening low. And once that was tested, we saw a pretty nice pullback. From the low, we saw a gain of 0.23%. So far from really setting up a potential significant counter rally yet, but some positive signs on the buyer side of things. But still in this very strong down move at the moment on the short, medium, and nearly the long term. So now the dollar CAD, which has been having some pretty good upward traffic lately, had a pullback yesterday. The Canadian dollar was stronger mainly against other currencies as well. So we can just update that. We can just see that there was a good old nice decline. Markets moved down 0.21%. Now oil was basically stagnant yesterday. We did have a rally that faded, and we did see a continue, but we do see this hold from 49.55. So again, it's a bit of a junky consolidation going on right now. You wouldn't really be leaning towards the buying side yet for a new counter rally to start, and we are starting to see a consolidation between 51.27 and down here at 49.51. So it may continue just to trade in the consolidation before we get a bit of a directional move out. And gold was a bit interesting last night. Equities were mixed. The USD was also mixed. So we did see a decline yesterday. We were looking at this as a new lower high. At the moment it's still in play, but there was a fair bit of resistance from buyers after that first attempted sell down by sellers. So we're just going to have to see how this level here at that 1566 area, how that reacts, if we do see another attempt by sellers, or if something a little bit more starts to develop on the buyer side. It is in a consolidation at the moment. We can see a bit of a range that's currently information here, and it's the midpoint of that range, but there is an inside lower high. So we were leaning a little bit towards short term, maybe on the selling side, but sellers don't really look to have that key momentum to really sustain a new extension. So we'll just have to see what happens between that low and this level here. Stocks were a little bit mixed last night. US equities were a bit flat. We had testimony from Fed Chair Powell. Trump tweeted that he's not happy with how high rates are and how high USD is, and he's calling that's hurting US exports. It didn't do much really to move the USD, and we saw that stocks are pretty flat. Earnings were mixed as well from rideshare company and Lyft. And we'll just have a look at the GER30, because that was one of the markets that did have a solid tick up last night. This is the German that follows the DAX. We can see a rally here of 0.71%, and we did nudge new records, so we can see that high here is at new records. So it was quite a good effort there from the DAX just to push it above again that resistance level here at 13,585. So we'll be watching to see if this turns out to extended breakout higher. But for now, we'd want to see today's bar continue higher and preferably close above that high in new records. But we'll have to give that some time to see how it goes. So That's well. Finally, we're just going to end on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was quite interesting. Just over the 4 hour, it did look like it was starting to run out a bit of momentum. We had that gap fell down here, but what happened was it held beautifully its support here. So that 9728, we had a few tests, but sellers were unable to break, and then we just saw a bit of a reverse from buying. One leg up that held just below that short-term resistance at 9860, and then bang, we just had this extension higher to end the session this morning, and that was a very strong move. It was 4.42% higher, and moving well back above that 10,000 points. So that's a fair effort from buyers. So we can see here now we've just started to test that resistance here. That resistance is that's 10,330. That's the next area we'd like to see Bitcoin close above, and then we'll be looking if buyers can maintain the move. Then, if they can get up to this level, we'll be looking for how they react to 10,692 to 10,700 resistance. So, hope you have a fantastic trading day, and until tomorrow, bye for now.